What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, Gargoyles Cry event has been out for about a little bit over 24 hours, and we've already found some extremely potent strategies. We'll be going over my speedrunning guide for the Gargoyles Cry event today, and we'll also just give a ton of tips, tons of builds, and all that kind of stuff. So if you want Gargoyles Cry's builds, you're in the right place. We're going to go over a ton of different frames, weapons, and all that kind of stuff. So if you enjoy these types of videos, farming guides, build videos, etc., news videos even, make sure you're subbed to this channel. We do daily Warframe video uploads. Also, I'll be live on stream after this video goes up with the rank 5 with the new syndicate the first day it's ever available. So let's see if anything weird happens with the new rank 5 syndicate. Come stop by the live stream. Really appreciate all the support, guys. Alright, so let's get right into it. What frames are going to be used here? What strategies are going to be used here? How can you get the most out of your time in this event that will be around for an entire month? I believe it's going to like January 18th or something crazy like that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run speed run frames here. And as far as what speed run frames I'm going to recommend, I think the best squad is, and it's the squad we actually have right now. So 2 Titanias, Titania Prime if you got it of course, Wisp Prime, so 1 Wisp Prime, and then 1 Volt Prime. Why these characters? Well, Titania Prime's 4th ability, Razor Wing, is actually the fastest method of movement in the entire game, besides like teleporting through a wormhole, I guess, with Nova, but you can't really teleport through walls here. And additionally, Wisp Motes give you health, a ton of extra health, so you can just chill, kind of, just face tank attacks. And also, Wisp Motes give you more movement speed, they give you electric procs to stun nearby enemies, and Wisp is also very good for taking out a bunch of Eximus with her Breach Surge. And there are a decent amount of Eximus spawning during parts of this mission. The way that this mission works, it's just a Assassinate bounty from the new tile, but it also has a Void Angel spawn in there too. And it's a guaranteed Void Angel spawn. If you have a mod drop booster, it feels like a near guaranteed spawn, or near guaranteed drop of the Arcane from the Void Angel on the Steel Path. So if you have a mod drop booster, you will be rewarded pretty handsomely over the course of this this event, as there's just going to be so many Arcanes for you to pick up. Now, as far as the Void Angel, that's going to be dropping Molt Augmented. It's going to be dropping, the Arcanes from Zeramon, not from this new place, the new Entrati Laboratory. You'll get Entrati Laboratory Arcanes if you're hunting down that book. But really, the book's going to be pretty hard to find. These tile sets are massive. I don't know what happened, but they decided to make the event tile set super, super massive for this event. So another reason why speedrun frames are so good. So the way that the strategy is going to go, and why I say have 2 Titanias, here's going to be the assignments of the teammates' roles, okay? And if you're the host of the mission, listen up, because you can be very, very polite to your teammates, and also save yourself some time too. So, all right, we're going to have assigned roles here. Listen up. Titania number 1, who is preferably the host. In this situation, that would be me. What you do when you spawn to this mission, so you're the Void Angel. You're the Void Angel duty. Your duty is to solo the Void Angel if you can do that. If you can't do that, of course, this strategy will not work exactly the same. But basically, the host will be the Void Angel killer. The host, Titania, will spawn in first because they're the host. Immediately activate one of these yellow tower things to start up the eyeball detectors. The eyeball detectors are going to be a big part of your bottlenecks, time completion here. The fastest completion we got, I believe, was a 5-minute 9-second boss kill and a 5-minute 40-second extraction because someone wanted to go back and get the Arcane. Totally fair. So yeah, if you are doing all these things stacked up together, you'll be expecting mainly under 7-minute runs, but if you're really, really organizing, under 5-minute runs. And a lot of this is going to be coming down to how much damage the boss takes to kill. You could not one-shot him at all. He has damage attenuation like crazy, and you're just going to be pounding him with damage for like a good couple minutes straight. So the builds we're showing today for weapons and damage setups will be involving just constant barrage of damage. Not anything. So I did Exodia Contagion, throw in like an Exodia Contagion here and there. It can do a decent chunk of damage, but it does not, you have to spam it over and over again. So small instances of damage, or rather, big instances of damage, but you can just constantly hit them as fast as possible. That's what you're looking for here. Now, that Titania player that activated the tower immediately, they are going to be going to the Void Angel. And I'm going to show you how to solo a Void Angel with all the gear here after I'm done explaining the rest of the mission. But yeah, the Void Angel should be soloed entirely on the Steel Path. If you can't solo it, and like I said, you can have a second teammate. You got the second Titania come over there with you, I guess. But the second Titania should be going down and hunting down the book. There will be a hidden book somewhere in the mission. It's usually in a really crappy spot, or maybe it'll be in a good spot for you. But basically, the book will give you an extra Arcane, which can turn to about 5,000 extra rep. It can turn some more Vos for additional Arcanes, things like that. So, second Titania will be the Book Hunter, or the Angel Helper if the first Titania is not like fully geared out for Steel Path Angels. And then the other two players, the Wisp and the Volt, they can just do the eyeballs. They just, since the hosting Titania already started up the eyeball detector, the Wisp and the Volt can just go start doing those, grabbing the eyeballs. Killing Murmur inside the circle makes the eyeball scanner go faster, too. I don't know if you noticed that. So if you could bring an arcane like Magus Anomaly to pull enemies into that circle, you might be getting a little bit faster times with your completion. So right there, this is not the one I was talking about earlier. This is a 5-minute, 53-second boss kill. I think we extract this mission in like 6 minutes, 9 seconds. Nice. But yeah, so organizing your squad can really save you some time over the long run if you're planning on farming this event a lot. And, you know, a lot of people probably are planning on farming this event a lot. So let's get into the builds for these frames. So for Titania, my fastest clear time was actually on Zata's Whisper Titania. It was just like a copy-paste of my Archon build. But in the end, I did end up getting a suggestion from someone in chat, Chef Chav. He gave me a recommendation of Energized Munitions Titania. And, you know, it actually makes perfect sense for what we're doing. This boss has damage attenuation like crazy. We have to keep shooting him. This allows us to keep shooting him for 11 seconds straight with our setup. So, great there. Thank you for that recommendation, Chef Chav. Definitely want to hit you with that credit on that one. But yeah, I've been rocking 2 different Titania builds for this. So, and by the way, the builds are very, very similar. But this is technically a new Titania build for me. We're using the new mod Precision Intensify, giving increased power strength to just our 4th ability. If you look at what buffs we have, we don't really need power strength for that, or technically, so we only need power strength for our 4. So Precision Intensify is great for this build, as Energized Munitions does not scale with strength, it scales with duration. So Precision Intensify giving increased power strength to our 4th ability, makes our Razor Wing Blitz give more strength per cast, gives us more base damage on our guns, just pretty good in general. The rest of the build is going to be focused on duration and just making sure we can cast our abilities. A little bit of power strength for good measure. So I'm just going to let you know, Pistol Amp, it feels like it does, I don't think it does anything. The way the damage attenuation works, you can just put any aura mod up there that does not nerf your damage. We had 4 Pistol Amps and I was doing the exact same damage numbers as if I had 1 Pistol Amp. So yeah, these don't actually matter. 27% pistol damage does not really make a big difference in the long run, guys. But that's what I have equipped because I use this for other things besides just this mission. If you were to just change that out, you have so many options. I mean, aerodynamic for less damage reduction, or for less damage while flying, brief rest for a little bit of shield gate, corrosive projection, because your radiation pistols are pretty bad against the armored necrotic enemies, but we have other weapons for that too. So really just pick whatever you want up there. That's the least important part of the build for sure. Preparation is relatively important. You spawn in with full energy in the mission. For the hosting Titania, this will allow you to fly to the Void Angel very easily. Our secrets with more power strength, so we can just fly around faster. Streamline, so our abilities cost less energy. We also drain less energy over time for Razor Wing, very important for this build. Prime Flow, in combination with Preparation, we spawn in with 980 energy on this build. That's a lot. And then we got Prime Continuity, less drain per second on our Razor Wing. Also longer duration energized munitions. We can fire our guns for a lot longer. Razor Wing Blitz is very important. It gives you increased fire rate and movement speed when you cast abilities in your 4th ability. Narrow-minded for more duration. Transient Fortitude for some more strength, but less duration. Technically could change that out. And then, like I said, Precision Intensify for only her 4. Now, some important arcanes here. Arcane Velocity gives you increased fire rate on your pistols. We're going to be spamming so many bullets that this is very helpful. And we also have Arcane Avenger. On damage, increased critical chance for 12 seconds for all weapons. A lot of people don't know this. You can actually just fly into the floor on purpose as Titania to proc this arcane, because it counts as being damage. But don't do it too many times, you might just splatter yourself on the floor. For killing the Void Angel, we're actually just using the Latron Incarnon. I'm using the Latron Incarnon's Flensing Spikes perk. Remove enemy armor, 20% per puncture proc. We pump out so many puncture procs with this thing, it's quite easy. The build is really not going to... I don't actually use this to kill the angel. I just use it to armor strip the angel, and I use my Elite on Call to kill the angel. But this is what I have equipped. Would not really recommend the exact build. You can honestly just go for a more armor strip focused setup like this, like maximum fire rate, maximum multi-shot, just to get that armor strip out. I'll probably just use this in the future. The Ocucor is very good for killing trash ads. I've got Expel the Murmur on here, and we've got a ton of like multi-shot and heat. Like it's corrosive heat, basically. And it's also got Rad built in, so it's quite good for the Murmur. We've also got the Praetos, mainly for movement speed, Drifting Grace, and Evolved Ascension, making you move a lot faster. That's very good if you're playing Wisp or Volt, because Titania doesn't really jump. Matarai Focus Tree. Now, if you're having a hard time surviving, Vazarin, I've seen people using Vazarin Focus Tree, and that's quite nice to just be completely invincible. Every 5 seconds, just dash, and you'll be invincible to damage. This will allow you to melee the boss down if you want the melee. Melee is one of the fastest way to clear it, but I'm not going to be showing a melee build today. Dex Pixia Primes. So here's the thing. If you're bringing the meta squad that I recommended, Volt, Wisp, Titania, this is a pretty good build for your pistols. You might be like, where's Bane of the Murmur? Like I said earlier, or Expel Murmur. Like I said, a lot of this stuff is not going to actually matter much when you have these buffs going. The damage numbers between this mod and this mod were exactly the same in missions. So I'm just going to run this. It's very nice. But if you do have a Volt in your squad, shooting through Volt's electric shield gives you electric damage. So with this radiation here, it becomes radiation electric. That's exactly what the boss is weak to. They're very weak to radiation. They're very weak to electric. Now, why am I modding for magazine size on here? It's because energized munitions only gives you 75% ammo efficiency, and we are going to be firing bullets really, really fast. So we need to have some magazine size so we can just spam it for a very long time. But it is just a radiation crit build. I could technically take off galvanized diffusion for barrel diffusion just because we're not getting really many galvanized stacks. But there is there are some trash ads that spawn, so you can get some galvanized stacks in the second DPS phase. That's basically it for the Titania. The Dawada Prime, we looked at this yesterday for the first time in a year. I don't use this, so yeah. Then for the Companion, I had Count Kirby for some extra steel essence from the boss sometimes. The doubling Smeeta buff does not work on the resource the boss drops. It just works on the steel essence it drops. So if you want some extra steel essence, might as well bring it. We can bring another Companion for better survivability. Alright, so that's Titania's Energized Missions build. Let's show the Zata's Whisper build. So it's just my normal Archon build for this one. And this is the build I had the fastest clear time on with this boss. So Zata's Whisper from Zaku gives you increased void damage on your guns, and that's quite good for the ability Razor Wing, just giving you more pistol damage, I guess. Now, Arcing Precision should not be on here. On Headshot, increased pistol damage. I had this equipped. It probably does proc from the boss, but remember the boss is a crazy void monster, so you're going to be technically... I don't even know how to put the velocity on this, but I'll do it right now. The boss does have a headshot. It's like that blue orb when it opens up its body or whatever, but it's not going to always be an available headshot for you, unfortunately. But yeah, this is what I got. The void proc from Zata's Whisper hardly seems to work, but the damage buff does seem to work, so that's good. All right, moving on to the next frame. We're going to have a Volt build, and as far as Volt, his main job, just make sure you're placing down those shields for your teammates, mainly for the Titania. And I have not really tested this build out, but I did think that it would be pretty good. We had teammates running Roar Volt. I've got Shooting Gallery Volt, which will give a damage buff for weapons with the Shooting Gallery buff for Mesa. It will also stun nearby enemies too. We got Prime Redirection, a new mod, giving us 1,500 shields. So we have a 2.5 second shield gauge. So we're relatively tanky, hopefully not dying ever. And as far as the rest of the build, it's just the Shock Trooper to buff our teammates with electric damage. This will be great for getting more damage on those pistols, even though they're damage attenuated. Speed for more reload speed and movement speed. And then the most important ability here is Electric Shield, giving a crit damage. I think it's a crit damage buff and electric damage buff too when shooting through these. Extremely helpful because, like I said, the boss is weak to electric, so this is going to massively buff those pistols. And if you're using the Torid DPS, Arcane Acceleration gives you more fire rate. So yeah, it's so much damage attenuation. You want to be jamming as much dot and damage as you can. Latron Incarnon is the main weapon I've been using on non-Titania frames, like the main DPS weapon I use. We've got maximum crit, and yeah. As far as the build, it's a Radiation Toxin build. I used this in the previous video, but I did throw out Hunter Munitions for an additional proc. So we've got dot from this, we've got dot from the Toxin, and we also got radiation damage, which they're very weak to. So as far as what the setup is, now keep in mind, you could go non-galvanized here. Like this galvanized aptitude, you could probably take that off because, like I said earlier, we're not getting many kills. There's just not many trash ads to really kill here. So you could go normal split chamber if you even wanted to. But yeah, Radiation Toxin. Toxin procs will proc Primary Blight. This does not require kills. There's not many enemies to kill in this mission. So you'll get your maximum crit damage and multi-shot from doing this. Very nice. If you don't have a Riven, you should probably get a Torid Riven, honestly. You can just throw a Hammer Shot on there, I guess. It would be a lot less crit chance, but also, at least get some crit damage on there. And yeah, Galvanized Aptitude is really not the most ideal either because you're not getting many kills. So you just throw a Hammer Shot in there instead. All right, so moving on to let's do Wisp next. So as far as Volt, you have some flexibility as far as what you want to run here. If you want to run the Roar Helmet, go for it. Oh, additionally, Xeneric Temporal Blast slowing ability. This works. This works on the boss. Cold procs don't work. I thought cold procs did work, but they don't. This does work. 80% slow for 10 seconds. If you have somebody on Xeneric on your team, this will technically help you shoot the boss for long. He won't be moving around as much. Easier crit shots, easier weak point hits, easier, just constantly damaging the boss, and he's attacking you less too. So one person with Temporal Drag would be quite nice. Moving on to Wisp. Now, I do think Wisp is one of the best frames for this. I actually had a Gargoyles Cry loadout just made for this, too. But as far as the Wisp build, I just use my normal Nourish Wisp build. It's the same one I use for my level, or the 60 eyeballs version. Now, as far as what we're doing here, we have Nourish from Grendel. Now, I've actually heard that Styanax, the Styanax frame, is very good for this. And the reason that is because Styanax's 4th ability, Intrepid Stand, can damage this boss, and it can give you and your teammates Overguard, too. So if you want a more, like, chill run, maybe replace one of the Titanias with a Styanax, and just don't worry about the finding the book, and just have the Styanax give everybody Overguard. I'll show a build for that, too. But yeah, Nourish, the boss is resistant to Viral, but this is still going to give you a damage buff. It's still going to give you energy multiplier buff. Wisp is just good. She gets fire rate buff here, too, so yeah, very, very nice. Fuse Reservoir just to make it more convenient, but you could technically take this off, just place 3 modes every time you want to, so. The rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. Shield gating, shield gating, shield gating, and power strength. Archon Stretch is very nice with Nourish. It gives you 2 energy regen per second. That 2 energy regen gets multiplied by Nourish. The other everything else is the same build. Everything, I'm just using the same stuff from the previous frame, just different character. Now for Styanax, like I said, I do not use this. Credit to Brozime for recommending this one to me. I did briefly check out his guide on this too, and it seemed like it was pretty solid. But here's the build I got. Intrepid Stand, hitting an enemy with a Javelin will give you Overguard and your teammates Overguard too. So that's very nice. It does work on the boss. Arcane Arachne, if you wall latch, this damage buff works on his spears as well. So very nice there. And like I said, Nourish gives you an energy multiplier. And then Rally Point from Styanax gives built-in energy regen. So just tons and tons of energy regen. So this build's called Energy for All. So you have as much power strength as you possibly can. Now, as far as okay, that's enough talk about that. Let's go over how to kill this angel, because this is something that I got a lot of questions about, and it might look a little bit weird if you're not used to, soloing Steel Path Void Angels. I am going to also show you, I'm using Hoba, but I'm not going to be showing Hoba in this video because I have to go to the ship to show that. But basically, it's a corrosive Czar build on Hoba. Now, as far as my amp, here are the exact amp parts and stuff I'm using. I'm going to show you how to solo a Steel Path Void Angel and carry your squads. The amp we're using right now is the Replock Prism, the Pod Scaffold, and the Certus Brace. Kind of view that as like a 1-4-7. The amp arcanes are Eternal Onslaught and Eternal Eradicate. On energy depleted, increased crit chance for your amp. On ability cast for your operator, increased operator amp damage for 8 seconds. Magus Melt. On Void Sling, increased heat damage in operator mode by 30%. Second to 7 times. This works on the Void Angel, okay? So together, these 3 things, you will be able to kill the Void Angel with no Void Strike, but we're still going to use Void Strike because we're trying to solo this thing and do it quickly. Okay, so enough of that. We're going to be going into there with the Elite On-Call crew member to take care of the Angel, and I'm going to show you how to solo a Void Angel very quickly, okay? Of course, you should be doing this on the Steel Path. The 60 eyeballs version is not worth it, guys. There is a very, very niche situation where the 60 eyeballs version would be worth it for this event, but it's gonna be so niche that I hardly even want to tell you what it is. Alright, well, I'll tell you anyway. The only situation you should be doing the 60 eyeballs version of this is if you are in a solo clan and you do not have time to grind this event out every week. For the reason that is because the only things affected by the 60 eyeballs is the curses that drop from this boss. The actual arcane resource does not get increased by the 60 eyeballs. The only increase is from normal path to steel path. So if you're grinding this event in the long run, do the Steel Path version the entire time, and never do 60 eyeballs a single time. Okay? 60 eyeballs is actively a bad idea. Unless you need more curses. And the reason it's okay if you're a solo clan that needs more curses is because you get 2 of each. And normally it's RNG which curse you get, because there's different variants of the boss that can spawn. So if you do the 60 eyeballs one, you get 2 of each, and for the solo clan it's only 2 of each per week. So that's technically what you could do. Okay, so as solo Titania, I'm being a bad player. What I should have done, I should have instantly, when I loaded in, activated this eyeball thing. I'm going to go back and waste some time just to show you how it works. So, as the host, immediately grab this thing. Hopefully don't die when you're doing it. Immediately grab this thing and activate the eyeball detector. If you don't do that, you're wasting everybody's time, including yours. Okay, after you activate that, then, as a Titania, you can go fight the Void Angel. Okay, now that's activated, we're good. I didn't mean to, ignore my own advice, but there we are. So you fly to the Void Angel. Now, I'm going to show you how this Void Angel is going to become a complete joke to you. Reminder, I do have a bunch of amp arcanes and all that, so if you don't have these things, you will not be destroying this Void Angel at the same speed. Okay, so we flew over to the Void Angel. We're going to activate it. It does usually take quite a while to activate, so we're just going to grab that Nightwave Skip. Now, you will be surrounded by enemies too, so just be aware of that. That's why I throw on the Elite On-Call crew member, Hoba. He will blast everything away for us. Now that the Angel is dead, we go into the Void Realm. Now, for the first DPS phase, as long as you have Void Strike, it shouldn't really matter if you use Contamination Wave and Magus Melt. One Void Strike and a headshot or two should take care of that Void Angel. Now that the Void Angel is dead, again, we're going to go back into the Void Realm, and this is where Magus Melt comes into play. You're going to Void Dash quite a few times, 7 times is the maximum. We're also going to use Contamination Wave. You can wait for the Void Angel to attack you. If you wait for the Void Angel to attack you, it will be stun locked by its own animation, and you can kill it from full health with no Void Strike. Now, if you don't have Void Strike, that second DPS phase might be a golden orb for you. So just be aware of that when you're going in. And just like that, we've soloed a Steel Path Void Angel, and we can just do that over and over again. It dropped an Arcane, so we're pretty happy about it. At least I'm pretty happy about that. And the eyeballs part can continue. So as you can see right here, for solo, we already activated the eyeballs. We have eyeballs waiting for us. This will save us so much time in the long run if we already activate the eyeballs, guys. It's going to be very courteous to you and, you know, just to your teammates too. Because for Wisp and for Volt, they're going to want those eyeballs already going. Now that we're just chilling here, we're going to kill some of these enemies in the circle to spawn the eyeballs faster. Okay, so you kind of get the idea here. Enemies die in the circle, the timer goes down quicker, more eyeballs for us. The eyeballs are what we need to get to that boss. We need 30 of them to get to that boss fight. So with more players, you'll have more eyeballs activated. And yeah, it's going to be pretty smooth sailing, hopefully. Now, as far as additional tips and tricks, guys, I do recommend that you do this with a fully made squad. Like I said, not everybody's going to be running Titania, Volt, and Wisp in public matchmaking squads. So, yeah, if you do this the way I'm recommending it, you're going to have 3 Arcanes per run. Of course, I could be looking for the book right now, too. But the book's not marked by Auric and Eye. It's not marked by a lot of stuff. It's just not worth it for me to go find the book right now. So, if you have a second Titania, this is where squads come in. If you have a second Titania to find the book for you, more power to you. The book is now, or the book Arcane is now marked with a waypoint as of the most recent hotfix, so that's great. But yeah, it's still a massive tile set, so finding the book in the first place is the hard part. And that's basically all I want to show you guys. Energized Munitions Titania is very good. You know, there's lots of options as far as what you could run. It depends what you want to run in the end. So, if you guys have any fun loads you'd like to run for this, let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, I appreciate all the support, guys. If you have any more additional questions, stop by the stream and I can answer individual questions on stream. Alright, guys, take it easy. Bye.